everyone, welcome back to another episode of That Range Life, a show kind of about golf sometimes, usually. Depends.
Mostly these days, I feel like.
Depends. Well, just kick my microphone. Depends when you catch us. Thank you for joining us. Real quick order of business. Go down below if you're watching on YouTube. Hit subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notified every time. Every single time we post a video here on the channel. And if you happen to be listening to this and not watching on YouTube, please go to your favorite podcast destination, rate the show a 5 out of 5, whatever their metric system is.
Right.
And give us a review. Tell everybody why they should listen to this wonderful show. And of course, regardless of which medium you choose to listen to us, please tell a friend. All right. A lot of show. Hey, man.
What is going on with you over there? Get it together, man. I'm
wearing this True Linkswear hoodie, and I discovered a secret pocket inside of it. There's like a little pocket, I'm guessing for a cell phone inside the kangaroo pouch. Yeah, for your phone.
Yeah, that's it's awesome. Like I have a couple hoodies that are like that. They're pretty nice.
Speaking of
one that's about to be retired, unfortunately.
Moment for the hoodie.
Yeah, it's one of your favorites. Is the one that you wanted me to find for you and order, the Nike one. But I feel like it's seen better days now.
Play the Sarah McLachlan song maybe for a quick tribute to it when in post. That sucks, but I feel for you. I love my hoodies, man. I love them. Speaking of True Linkswear, just announced today, introduced to the Squatch. I don't know if you saw that, but they dropped some Sasquatch logoed items.
Is that right?
And they're awesome. Fun. I ordered a hat and a t-shirt. They were so good. So
I'll have to jump on there and do some buying myself.
Go check that out. One quick order of business before we dive into, we got some topics today. Kris, we got some topics.
We have a topic. Damn it.
Well,
we're gonna speak to ad nauseum.
I see 2 on here and one that I'm assuming is just a leftover we're gonna save for a future show.
Correct.
But we got to get to 2 out of obligation. But one of them is also as the official designated authority by Golf Internet, Costco golf experts.
Correct.
Which this comment that came on my website leads me to believe we are definitively the experts on Costco golf.
Right.
So I received a comment. I mean, that post, that gosh darn Costco irons are coming post.
Right.
Every friggin' day is the most popular post on my website. And I thought to myself, like, well, maybe if it's in, I don't know, a very popular thread over at golfwrx.com, or maybe there's a Reddit post that's just hot and people are reading. But for those who don't know, when you have a website, especially when it's well put together and professional as driverangeheroes.com, there are tools to see where your traffic's coming from. I'm not getting referred traffic from Golf WRX. I mean, a little bit, but not leading post every day. I'm not getting a ton of traffic from like a tweet related to anything or Reddit or whatever. So this is like organic finding of this Costco.
Yeah, look at you.
Are people Googling? I don't know.
SEO getting to work.
Let's just say, fine, I'm an SEO wizard. How are that many people daily looking into the Costco irons? So anyway,
I don't know, man.
A commenter leaves a comment. Hey.
As commenters might do on occasion.
Sometimes they do other things. They says to me, hey, I was looking on the USGA conforming list website, and the Costco irons are no longer up there.
Really?
And then they asked me, do you think that means the product got pulled? I don't know.
Well, do you?
I have no idea. I have no idea how that works,
William.
And I said to them, I'm like, I'll be honest with you, I have no idea how that USGA process works, but I would have to think, regardless of if they're pulled or not, the way a conforming list works, you send in your sample or whatever they do, and you go, hey, can you tell me this is conforming or not? And they say, yep, it's registered. So whether you pull it or not, shouldn't matter. We've taken it and we've logged that it is conforming. Whatever you do with it from this point out, it's logged as conforming.
I was thinking maybe it didn't conform.
No, I think once it's up there and it passed.
Is that, I guess my question then is that common practice to have a conforming club fall off the list for some reason? Like, does that happen to Cobra? Like Cobra submits their stuff and it gets put on the conforming list and then it stays there, I assume.
Yeah, you would think. I would think so, but I don't know. I mean, maybe we just never realized it. I'd be shocked at any of the major brands have ever ran into, like, you know what? Whole product line sent in. Never mind, we're pulling it. So I wouldn't even know if they'd have the sample. So
see, that makes me think that something went sideways and they pulled it, and they're not going to come out.
So hopefully we do have some USGA conforming list. I mean, that's something in my days of following internet golf, let's say 2007 and on, there's always been that pocket of good golf nerds who know how that all works. So
Right.
if you're one of those who knows how that, explain to us what might have happened in the comments. Genuinely would like to know. But I replied.
Also, if you want to drop in where I've never. How do you find the conforming list? Do you just Google USGA conforming list?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I did.
It's never occurred to me to do that.
Well, after, the buzz started, I went, well, rather than like quote other people's tweets and other people's hearsay blogs, I'll make my own hearsay blog and go straight to the source.
Right.
So I Googled.
Do you put like an alert on that so that, like, how do people know when new stuff hits that list?
So I think you hold me into a very high regard of golf nerddom when it comes to equipment. I'm nothing compared to the real ones.
Well, yeah, it's all relative.
Right. I mean, there are people who are just like, let me go see what's new on the conforming list today.
Man, what a life.
Well, and I think there's that, let's be honest, the way it works, well before a lot of the press cycles, the gear for the new lines starts popping up there and someone can be like, oh, I'm the first to find the new Callaway. Like, you got us. You beat the internet.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Anyway, there's your Costco irons updates. Everybody, if we have any USGA
stay tuned.
Experts,
stay tuned for late breaking news here on That Range Life, a YouTube channel, sometimes about golf and mostly about Costco gear. Golf.
Not just golf. We've been talking about the Euros. We're talking about the barbecue ability.
That's true. I actually, they had on sale these past couple weeks here some dragon fruit juice, and I've been imbibing on that. It's very good. Good in a smoothie. Good just in a glass.
Just straight. Okay. Yeah.
I can feel my immune system boosted, courtesy of the dragon fruit juice.
One time, like many moons ago, pre-kids, I got put onto this drink via a coworker at one of the company golf outings. This is a long time, many moons ago.
Okay.
And she goes, try this drink and trust me. I go, okay. It's basically a light kiddie cocktail, like not too grenadine sugary up, right? With dragon fruit vodka. Got it. It was hot golf day, long day. It was life-changing. Life-changing. So try that.
It's good to know. I'll put that in my back pocket, with dragon fruit vodka, even just vodka with dragon fruit in it on a summer's day.
I mean, that sounds like a garage episode drink if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, I wonder how it would be with like mezcal. Bet you that would be
delightful.
Sick.
I can guarantee that. So anyway, I was thinking before I got this bombshell of a comment on the website, I wonder if I went to Costco with my wife and I just was wandering through and I happened upon, oh my God, the boxes of irons are here. I came to the conclusion, I think I would genuinely call you and wait and go, please get in your car, drive out here right now. And you know what kills me? I think you would do it.
For sure.
Like, Chris, you got to do it right now. The irons are here and the irons are the focus. And then we'll do the whole Euro thing. Come on, get out here. I'm at the one in Bloomingdale or Carroll Stream. I don't remember. Bloomingdale, I think.
Right.
I know it's a pain. Just do it. And I think you'd be like, oh, okay, I'm on it.
I could, depending on the time of day that you hit me up, I could be at my Costco. So I would just bounce Costco to Costco.
And then Zell would be like, did you really leave this Costco to go to the other Costco just for golf clubs and Euros? Yes.
She'd be like, yeah. She probably would even question it. She'd be like, this checks out, you idiots.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, Sarah would have zero spurs. Like, no,
yeah,
yes, all of this makes sense. Of course,
Yeah.
she's also like, you're also the dorks that sit in lawn chairs in my garage doing this. So I'm not surprised by anything you guys do.
Also true.
All right, let's get to real topic. Well, the real topic said is a real topic. It's important golf news. Yeah. Let's recap the Genesis real quick, if you don't mind.
Boy, that was a fun tournament, man.
I didn't get to watch as much as I wanted to, but I did watch a little bit. I'm going to say this. I am not a Tiger apologist. I definitely lost some of, I mean, I was huge, like all kids were as a Tiger kid, and definitely lost it when a lot of people did. But I still love to watch Tiger Woods. Still love to.
Golf's better. You talked about, how golf is better when Rick is hanging around. Obviously it's times a billion, but golf is just better when Tiger Woods is playing golf on the weekend.
I like, like old man Tiger we got going on here, everybody's friend, the whole
right.
Him checking off the girl with the heart transplant sign. That thing was great. And then day two being, it was actually Joe LaCava putting him onto it. And caddies are more than just bag schleppers. Like, yeah, no shit. I know that.
Yeah,
but
right.
I don't care if that story like wrote itself and was a slam dunk. It was awesome. I loved it. Just like we allude to on the show regularly, just like the little kid who went in the water to get Ricky's ball many moons ago as well. I love that stuff. I love that. Of course, you're going to eat it up, and it's just like I said, an easy slam dunk. It's so good, so good. So that was fun, and he played good golf. Relatively,
he did.
He played good golf. We're T45, I believe.
Yep.
Not bad. So, any thoughts? Any thoughts on the Genesis?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of debate about hole number 10 and blah blah blah, and everyone wants to ruin everything that's good. So I'm not going to even address that because it's a stupid argument, and it's like the nitpickiest of nitpicky things. I just like can we just enjoy things for like a minute, please?
I mean, isn't that the rule of of golf? Then golf internet, especially
oh my God,
something makes you happy. No,
they're seeking out. So, anyways, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to enjoy Max Homa and John Rahm going at it, which was awesome. We had a couple bucks on our boy Maxi, who fell short. But then our other guys, Zalatoris, Willie Z, and Sahith Tagala, apparently that's how we've been saying his name wrong. I don't know. Whatever.
I accept that.
They had themselves some Sundays, man. Like Tagala was, man, he ended up, what I think you put it down here, right? T6.
Yep.
Like, damn, dude. And I regret not putting down just a top 10 finish for those two guys because they were just outside, I think, before Saturday started. And I was like, you know what? I looked at them. I mean, we bet Zalatoris to win the damn thing. So did Mark, by the way. We were texting late on Sunday. Yeah, it was just fun golf. I just enjoyed the golf. I love that golf course. I love that tournament. I love that Thomas Peters cried about it, and then he went to live the next day about not getting invited.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, okay, dude. But anyways, fun tournament. And I just feel like right now, as much as John Rahm is on just an absolute heater, I think I saw, did you see that he's won $9.5 million so far this season? It's February 20th or whatever.
I saw something like in his last 6 starts.
God.
It reminds me of the Scott, like we were saying, it was the last week or the week before, Scotty Scheffler's just like printing wins, and Rahm's just slipped into that role now.
It's wild. By the way, just for the record, I was thinking about this Sunday after John Rahm won. There was a lot of, sort of, I don't know what you want to call it, angst over the way the Super Bowl ended. with the hold that was called, and people were saying, yes, it was a hold, but it shouldn't have been called at that point. And they're like,
and if you should still wear your favorite jersey. Yeah.
Right. Right. Which is just a ridiculous, like, penalty is a penalty, guys. I'm sorry. Anyways, John Rahm, I think it was on Saturday. Friday, I think Friday was the shot. Did you see this? That he took off the grandstand? He banked off the grandstand.
No, I didn't see it.
And he birdied it. He birdied the hole. Like, it banked off the grandstand, which is behind the green, rolled down kind of the false front towards the green, and then with the inside 5 feet. It was like,
so were people like in an uproar about that?
No, it's not, I'm not there yet. Hold on.
Okay.
Then the next thing that happened was he hit a ball off the planet into the parking lot. But he got relief because, there was a fence there that's usually not there. There were cars there. So he got basically a free drop, right?
Right.
So there's, the penalty alone that he didn't have to, incur is stroke, and he won by a stroke. So my question is, no one really mentioned that after he had won, right? But he won by a stroke. So if he does that on Sunday, do we have the same sort of uproar, or is it just like, doesn't matter? It just seemed like you would think if people were so upset about this penalty that was called at the end of a football game, then if he's coming down the back 9 and hits a ball that far left, which is so far left, and still gets that free drop, I don't know. I feel like,
let's be honest.
Are we mad, Golf Twitter, or are we just like, who cares?
If it was Patrick Reed, I think we all know what would have happened.
Right. Which, again, this thing too, can we address that whole, if it was Patrick Reed, if it was, Bryson's a different thing, but like, when you have a reputation of cheating or stretching the rules to your advantage, you are not going to get the benefit of the doubt by the public. Period.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Yes. If it were Patrick Reed, people would probably be like, what the hell, right? But that's because that dude cheats. Everybody knows it. If it's just a guy that's on tour and he gets a break, and there's no reputation there, people aren't going to be salty about him. Be like, he got lucky, or he's got, who was it that got the free drop because he was saying he was standing on a animal hole in Phoenix?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, that always wasn't Rory, was it?
No, it was, I want to say it was either Xander or, I think it was Xander. Either Xander or Morikawa.
I think you're right about Xander, and there was like multiple times where people were like, wait, is he one of these guys now?
Yeah. So now he's got that on his record, right? So if this continues to be a trend, yes, he's going to get blasted when he stretches a rule, a la the way Patrick Reed constantly is doing weird things like wiping the face of his club with something on the inside of his pocket, or pressing down the grass constantly, but behind the ball with a wedge, and then he hits a 7-iron. Like, yeah, you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt by the public.
Maybe Anyways. We should next week, we should add sort of a golden rule, a segment in the next few weeks of like, Kris teaches you basic life lessons, like this one today. Next week you could do the concept of guilty by association. Right? Think of that like with your kids, where it's like, well, yeah, fine, but if you're like one of the 10, and the 10 are doing the 9 of them are doing these things, they're just automatically going to assume the company you keep. Okay. Right. And then after that, we could do where there's smoke, there's fire. Could teach that one, but
it's a good one. It's a good one.
So I like, because it's funny how much the dumb shit people get in an uproar about come down to like kind of basic life lessons of.
It's true.
Well, if you have a reputation for this.
Yeah. Guess what? Yeah.
If it walks,
I don't know how we got there.
But that's actually what we do. Shout out Rick Fowler again. T20 -5. Yeah, look, I'm not telling you he's winning. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not telling you he's guaranteed any of the majors this year. I'm not making any claims like that. But he's earning checks, earning points.
It's true. Is he like? My point originally was, I feel like golf in general, pro golf, PGA Tour golf, has had some really great weeks.
Yeah.
Like maybe this elevated thing is going to work out. Now we get and then to me anyways, we get the Florida swing. And so the Honda, which is kind of, it's not an elevated thing, but now we're going to get back to guys trying to win for the first time, guys that you don't know, trying to secure the card or make a run. And apparently there's no minor league tour stop. There's no Corn Ferry Tour stop, I think. So they're all just trying to get into this tournament.
To put in our requisite check-in on our pros this week, so I went to check what happened on the Corn Ferry Tour because I didn't follow it this weekend. They're off from last weekend to like mid-March.
Oh, is that right?
Like,
wow, interesting. Yeah, so I find joy in that. I think it's great to try to watch guys have a life-changing moment. I know other people think it's boring and stupid and you don't have to watch. That's the cool thing about having a channel changer on your TV remote.
I'll take it a step further. That's the cool thing about being able to choose things in life.
Right. And then you have Bay Hill and then we're into then the players. Like, I just feel like this schedule is it's hot right now. It's a lot of fun for me. I'm enjoying it.
Don't take that away from Kris, okay, guys? Don't take it away from him.
Damn it.
Hush. All right.
Okay.
Shout out Rick. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, you mentioned a name, and I've been wanting to work this into a show for a while, but I don't really know how. And it's not overly important, but I don't want to say it eats at me. It's a little dramatic, but hey, Bryson, did you actually? I think was it here or just us chit chatting? You talked about like basically people going to live. It's like, I just don't see you anymore. That's all. Like,
oh yeah, we were talking about, it's like the guys that go over to live is like when you unfollow someone on Instagram or something or Twitter or whatever. And like that person just kind of ceases to exist in your world.
Right. It's not like
they're just gone and you don't even think about them anymore.
It's not like you guys were actual friends or whatever. They're
right.
Not there. Now, Interestingly enough, I don't know if you saw this where Tony Finau got interviewed by TMZ and he's like, actually, I'm like really good friends with the Koepkas and I haven't seen Brooks and Jenna in a year. So like, that's different. But
right.
Those are two professional golfers,
right.
Not me, some idiot who does internet golf stuff. There's those little microcosm.
Yeah.
And the person actually competing who has no idea I exist.
Right.
But along those lines, I did see there's a small hubbub in Golf Nerd World of Bryson is no longer a Cobra Puma athlete.
Oh yeah.
Where'd he like? I hear nothing about it. Like he talk about to go and you unfollow. I mean, he doesn't pop up in any Golf Digest, anything. Like his name isn't whispered anywhere.
It's true. Is he still doing like his own YouTube stuff?
I would assume so because that was like the whole thing. He now has I still don't get. He has the independence to do stuff on YouTube he didn't have before. Like,
right. But did you see that Liv? This is the thing that jumped out to me. I don't care about equipment. I honestly, you know this. I don't. It doesn't interest me very much. But apparently, Liv has approval rights on equipment contracts for their players. They have like agree rights or something, which is wild to me. Like that is
these guys are independent contractors, free to go do whatever they want, wherever they want. And they love the idea of Live for all the control and autonomy they have gotten over their lives. So that fits, seems to fit right in on that.
Crazy, man.
Speaking of Live and Tour.
This professional guy there.
I've been doing that. I've been doing this a while, everybody. What if I really thought that highly of myself saying shit like that?
It'd be the best.
Anyway, I don't want to take your thunder because we're in your brainchildren now, and I love it.
I mean, people have been clamoring for us for our specific. I've been very quiet about it. I didn't even announce that I finished Full Swing like so many others have done on like, you know, if you want to give your thoughts on Full Swing, just give your thoughts. You don't say just finished. Like we're assuming if you're going to say like, it's this.
Oh, Kris, don't you feel you have a big obligation to your loyal followers to let them know what you finished doing at any given time? Got dressed.
Right.
Change my
I did say
shoes.
last week, I think on Friday, it's a major milestone in my life. My wife and I finished all the fresh fruit in the house before it went bad. All of it. I mean, that's a thing. I'm telling you, right?
It's just too funny. Like, I can't even lean into it. Like, I love it.
That's a big time adulting accomplishment right there.
You got to let me know when you do stuff like that so I can like chime in and like be like, this is a big deal and give you the right responses.
Right. A lot of people did say like, well done, man. Nice job. Like, yeah, I know. It's a big deal.
Oh no, I'm not gonna be more than I was like, God, thank you. I was worried about this. Just so we could do the thing. Do the thing.
Right. Yeah. Anyways, I joked about a few weeks ago that there were like all these different recap podcasts that were sprouting based on Full Swing. Several had the same name, Full Swing Thoughts.
Imagine that.
Another one it was Full Swing Tonight. So we thought, we were joking around. I was kind of poking at it a little bit on Twitter. And I said, well, I'm going to do one. We're going to do an episode called Full Swing Thoughts Tonight in half the time. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to give our thoughts on the Netflix series Full Swing. Full Swings is
it's a totally different show on a different channel that be careful what you Google.
Right. But we're not going to do, the episode by episode because they dropped. It didn't make any sense. We talked about doing individual separate episodes if it were a week to week release, but when they released them all at once, like why would you do 8 episodes? I don't know. That seems egregious to me. So
I don't want to. I love everybody who listens to us, but if you wanted to listen to us do that many shows on that topic in a row, like you might have to. Don't do that.
Yeah, I mean we're already doing 15-minute gear talks. That's enough.
Yeah,
we don't need to be doing a half hour podcast episode on a 45-minute Netflix episode. Like, no, I'm not doing that.
8 of them?
I'm not doing it. That's right. So anyways, let's get into it a little bit. We touched on it when we were hitting golf balls on Saturday night. You have a new and profound love affair with a character from episode 1. Would you like to address that now for the people?
Yeah, sure. I specifically have been, I don't want to say hard on this person, but I'm definitely on this show. If you go back, comment like, I'm tired of the Justin Thomas and his dad storyline. Like, oh, look at the Thomas guys at it again.
Right. Yeah. Did you know he's a Troon? He's sponsored by Troon. Did you know that?
I actually didn't. And
it's on his hat.
Yeah. Now Oh, and then it seems like, oh, okay.
Right.
But while we're at it, did you know he's a former PGA? He's a teaching pro. Still is.
Right.
But I just figure like, these 2 country club dorks, whatever.
Right.
I'm leaning a little further into it, and like, who am I to say? I know I'm saying it that way on purpose.
But you have some, I mean, just with you, there are preconceived notions with that sort of parent.
Right. And
we'll say that, and
how, like, I would say, maybe it's like a little Tiger dad, not Tiger Woods dad, like the concept of tiger parenting and helicoptery, and just, hey man, it's weird that like you two are kind of like not separated as adults, and whatever, right? I've had a lot of those various opinions and thoughts over the years, summarized as such or paraphrased. After that episode, I love Justin Thomas's dad. I think he's my favorite character out of the entire series. And just the point where he's like, my dad was so hard on me and kind of mean to me. And I said, I won't do this to my kids. And so this whole time with Justin, I've never been that way with him. And I feel like I'm sure we'll get into this more as we chit chat. There are a lot of characters who knew they were on a Netflix show and putting a show on, and you could tell he seemed very genuine, not like that, and just seemed like a good dad trying to help his son. And so I went, Mr. Thomas, I take back how my stance and what I've said. I am more of a fan of him than Justin Thomas.
Right. I want to see JT excel just so I could be happy for his dad, for Mr. Thomas.
And now I'm like, I'm glad, Mr. Thomas, you have had your son succeed in all these ways as a parent. So big fan of how he came across, and it was a good takeaway.
Yeah, I will say that right off the bat, that was probably it's hard too, because this is another example of the golf Twitter space and golf social media in general, just not having the perspective that I think we need to have. Like, just because it's a golf show doesn't mean it's a golf show for you, golf psycho, right? A lot of people complaining about, like, every episode they're telling us that if they don't make the cut, they don't get paid. And like, right. It's not just for you. It's for anyone who wants to watch this show. And so, yeah, they're going to repeat some things. And it's also, I'm sure the Netflix people have a theory on why they kept saying that every episode.
Well, I wondered if
in order or whatever.
I said, because I have a note where I'm like, all right, they keep going to Amanda Balionis / Renner. I don't know if they differentiated in the show. Well, I know it is now, but the show, I couldn't remember what they put, if they even did. But every episode, I'm like, we're doing it again, but you released all 8 of these. So the likelihood I hopped in at episode 3, not 1 and 2, where you already explained this to me. But then I thought to myself, I bet you when they made this, they weren't sure yet if it was going. And so maybe you do know, they weren't going to release them all at once, or if it was going to be weekly. So,
or even in a different order.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I didn't even think of that either.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's just all kinds of different things. And quite honestly, the way that I feel Netflix shows, like these new sort of streaming shows, is that the word of mouth that goes around, and like maybe the Joel Damon
That's how you
episode. Yeah. Maybe that episode gets word of mouth, and that's the first one. Like I heard about this.
Right.
My wife didn't watch all 8 episodes. She watched the ones that I told her about. Right. The ones that I thought she would like. And so we went back and watched the Joel one and that kind of stuff. So that's, speaking of which, again, we knew the outcome of all of this stuff because we're weirdos and we watch it and we talk about it. But not everybody knew that Justin Thomas was going to win the PGA Championship. Not everyone knew Tony Finau was going to go back to back and win these tournaments. And so the way that they did produce it and edit it and kind of tell that story week to week or episode to episode in little vignettes, kept my wife, lots of my wives, kept her intrigued and entertained because she didn't know how it was going to end. So I saw a lot of people complaining about that too. But again, it just, can you just watch it and just it's great to have thoughts, but not because, a lot of guys were like, or a lot of people were like, well, it didn't give me any insight. Well, that's not what it was supposed to do. It's a show. It's I don't know, man. Like it wasn't going to give us insights because we know all this stuff.
Right. Well, watching it, I said to myself, I go, this show, and I will say, I felt like it got stuck in a place where it's like, we are trying to cater to the rabid golf audience that exists.
They try to walk a line. Yeah.
Right. And I think that's really hard because I watched it going, I think the only person who's going to care about any of this are the golf dorks, but the golf dorks already know all this and have these general preconceived notions of these players. And most of them were not changing. We know who these people are pretty well and what they're like.
Yeah.
And I felt like, I did feel like it was stuck in that spot, but I got it. I understood how it ended up stuck in that spot. You know what I mean?
I guess I don't, no one established what their expectations were prior to the show. They just thought it was not great afterwards.
Well, and let's be honest.
I mean? Like, well, what did you expect it to be? Like, I know they had a lot of access. I can't even imagine the number of golfers they followed around and the amount of footage that they collected. And then, you have to pick you're following this stuff in real time. You have to pick the storylines that are going to be, engaging.
Well, and I think that's why one of the things I did comment, it seemed like every episode somehow wound up with a concluding that Justin Thomas won the PGA Championship. I know, told me last episode.
A lot of Tulsa, Oklahoma stuff for sure.
Because,
it's PGA Championship. They probably had the most access to that anyways.
That, and I think the players whose journeys were peaking and rising and had an interesting story. Right. And then I think, obviously, on top of all of it, like the disservice to anything they planned with the show. And I think people might argue it was like a gift horse for them. I don't think it was that live happened. So rather than like really getting into the trenches with this thing, is like, that was the big elephant in the room. This thing like had to lean into and chase in addition to anything else it was trying to do. Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about this Saturday night. I'm still trying to decide if live happening while they were doing this show was a detriment to the storytelling, because I don't think it was necessary. Or because it didn't really, nobody admitted to going necessarily. I guess DJ was all in on it.
Well, like we said, the Poulter thing, he couldn't, for various reasons at the time when they were interviewing, just say it. He like literally couldn't, but
why couldn't he? Why?
I'm sure there was some sort of like NDA, something or other going at the time. Or
that's interesting because DJ did. DJ was like, yeah, I'm going.
Well,
and this is why.
Let's be honest. DJ could have signed something and not realize he did. And but my point being, I feel like, he did the whole, I'm not saying anything, but I'm making this glaringly obvious so you can draw the conclusion for yourself here. But not saying he wasn't Poulter at any point in it.
I think he was a coward.
But I think in the whole,
douche.
I mean, if you want to talk about
him anymore,
if you want to talk about them being, I feel like 85% of the people on the thing were douches. I'll be honest with you.
No, on the show,
I say 80. I meant 97%.
You're nuts.
I forgot what I was gonna say. God damn it. But I think like you're dead on. I don't think it was necessary for the story and telling the story. I think it would have been an interesting, like I think the grips, I don't know what I was gonna say for Brooks Koepka there. The Brooks Koepka quote unquote insights for him leaving, and I think like the mental gymnastics that were going on with him.
Yeah.
That would have been a good live episode story. But the rest of it, I'm like, okay, there are guys who just decided they like the live thing and they're going to it. I didn't need a whole episode dedicated to two more players deciding it.
Right. And again, the Brooks storyline, the Brooks episode, we can just move into episode 2. Without the live thing was enough of a story. Like, this is a dude who's publicly, I mean, quite honestly, bagged on golf. He doesn't think it's a real sport. And, I think he had that line about the waste management. Like, I love the fans. It feels like a real sport when you're out there. Like, right. He's kind of just always played it, downplayed it. And then when it comes down to it, he's just really insecure, I think, almost weak-minded guy. I personally called him straight up. I called him just a front runner. Like, when things are good, then he's fine, but he doesn't know how to overcome adversity. He just mailed it in. He's like, he said it himself. I can't beat these guys. And so he was done with it.
I think of American hockey players, what my experience was like with American hockey culture growing up, and the great players were always like, no one said no to them, and it was easy for them. And they just like,
right.
Just sort of coasted through everything. And I feel like that was likely a lot of Brooks's life.
Yep.
And then ran into that not being the case, whether the competition or, I mean, it's obviously a combination of both, like his body keeping up with it all so he can keep up with the competition and being like, you're not competing against insert high school community here in AJGA. You're competing against, Matt Fitzpatrick, Rory McIlroy, Hideki Matsuyama.
They flew by him.
Yeah, all over the world. So I can't tell you. I told you, it's like I can't tell you where you're in that place, and all of a sudden, like it just seems like kind of, whether it is or not, like it's crashing down around you. Where you go, all right, this live thing makes me. I feel like I'm done here. I can still go tack on a couple zeros on my bank account. I might do it. I can't tell you don't get it, but I agree. I agree
soft.
with
soft,
right?
So soft.
But I'm not
for a dude.
I'm not going to say so soft because I'm not living in those shoes. I can't say that, but it was definitely a lot of choices and directions out of in like an unfamiliar territory and insecurity that
it was,
just Dewey's. And my big thing was, I feel like you touched on it, the persona he's put on for so many years.
Exactly.
The whole thing was proven. He's so full of shit because he's like, I know I'm putting the work and I'm working harder. They're like, you mean the guy who's like, I don't practice, I don't do this, I don't even care about like everything maybe you you want to come off a certain way. And I'm sure his response to all of this, fairly so, I'd be like, I don't care what any of you think, whatever. My response like, nor should you. You don't have to.
Right. I hope you don't, honestly.
But the whole where he's like, I just like black out from holes 6 through 13. Like, maybe blacking out holes 6 through 13, if your concentration, maybe you would have kept up. Maybe you wouldn't have. I don't know. I'm an idiot sitting in my basement talking to another guy over the internet about a golf show. What do I know? But it didn't add up remotely with anything he's put on in the past. And I'm just kind of like, well, that's interesting.
Yeah. Right. Do we want to talk about Poulter too? While we're here, I thought Poulter came off. I've told you this already. I thought Poulter came off the worst of everybody.
I don't think he came off the worst, but I don't think he came off good. To me, like my problem with the Poulter thing is like it was such a. I'm like figuring out in my head now as I go. It was such a non-story. Because I think prior to all this year, he's always been such an open book with everything out there. So there's like nothing to gain with access to Poulter unless he like was sneaking in, basically giving the cameras access to other people that weren't giving the access. So you weren't going to learn anything new about him. And the only thing you're getting out of him is like, well, Paul Casey's not here telling you, Lee Westwood's not here telling you, Graham McDowell's not here telling you, I'll tell you, kind of. So I think like that's all there is to really gain out of it. It was just, he was the one willing, almost aged out European willing to put it out there. And so to me, I'm like, as a lifelong Poulter guy, I'm like, this is a black hole in the series that didn't need to exist. It added nothing, zero value.
I totally agree. Yeah, and I told you this. I thought he came off as condescending and dismissive and just kind of uninteresting. He just wasn't interesting.
My note in my notebook, knowing you would want to do this show, is the only note I had on one problem I had because I watched 2 and 3 away from my notebook, and I watched them back to back, and so I got my lines where it's a 2 and 3 are one note, and I only had one Poulter note. IJP was surprise ... Not a surprise.
Right.
It's my only Poulter note.
Yeah. Yeah. I also think did he have the line too? Like, oh, you've already made millions. What do you need? Another more handful of millions? And he said like, well, it's all relative. Like, okay, but it's still like, it's a money grab. Just say it's a money grab. Like, it's not relative. You're a millionaire and you want more millions.
Yeah.
Like, just say that. But like, it's all relative. Like, okay, guy. That's fine. Whatever.
No, it's fine. I was neutral on things. Not that, it's fine. Couldn't read between lines.
Right.
So yeah, I thought it was boring. And back to can I ask you a question? Going back to the Brooks Koepka episode, we don't need to talk about that. We talked about this on Saturday. The Genesis. Okay, Brooks, I know that
she's a bit of an exhibitionist. I'll just put it that way.
And
she knows when the lights are on, and she plays the part.
It was brutal. Brooks, I know they would say no, the story, the whole shows so you can form your own opinions, and we're not telling you what to think. Were we supposed to feel sorry for Brooks?
I think some people did.
But I think
it wasn't going to be me.
The line they were trying to create was, hey, actually, this guy is a sensitive whatever. Right. And, whether you agree with his choice or not, you should be compassionate. I'm like, should I?
No, I'm not going to
Did it not seem though that was?
Yeah, that was the play.
Yeah. Which I felt, I'm like, don't tell me. Don't tell me.
He again, this goes back to when we just started. If had this dude been honest and upfront and, genuine in the past, and I saw this kind of from him, I would have compassion for him.
Yeah.
But he was never that way. So I'm not going to feel sorry for you, bro.
I'll segue that into episode 3. If it's a guy like Joel,
oh my God,
you sort of go, it adds up.
Yeah.
He's always sort of felt this insecurity or this reality or whatever about his game.
Right. By the way, this isn't going to be a surprise to anybody. I think it's everyone's favorite or top 2 episode probably, but easily the best episode, I thought. Best story, best relationship. I mean, I have to tell you the relationship between Joel and Gino have echoes of you and me in them. I feel like
I wrote 4 notes. Remember, this was episode 4, but in my notebook because of that snafu, it's episode 3.
Right.
It's pretty simple, and I don't think we need to spend a lot of time in this episode. I wrote Joel and Gino are fun. That's the note.
Right.
And then, think of all the caddies and players. To me, Jason Day and Cole Swafford, I think his name, they're always the best example. Their family, love them. And even if he's not my caddy or coach anymore, we're still going to be close. And then they're not, they drift apart and they'd never come back. I really, really hope that never happens. I'm not saying they have to stay caddy player, but Gino and the Benallis and the Damons never break up.
I don't know who would put up with Joel the way that Gino does. I mean, he is the most patient human being on the planet dealing with that guy.
Oh, really? I didn't get that vibe.
Really? I just feel like I just think it takes a special sort of.
If anything, I don't think he's patient. I think he's more he doesn't have to be patient. He's very.
But that's what I mean. He knows
very parenty to him. Right.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. And if you're just a guy that wants to carry someone's bag and make 10%, that's not fun for you. That is not what you want to do. He's very much big brother, dad. I mean, all those things that, you talk about with caddies, but times 100, because then you have Joel who I don't know, at times he I think at one point, who was it that said do you want to go to the US Open?
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. Or one of the times where he's I'm going to punch you right in the stomach.
Well, and I think the boner line where we're not everybody's over that line.
Yeah.
To me, the funny part wasn't remotely the boner line. It was hours later when he goes, how many caddies do you think called their player a boner today?
Right. Yeah, I just think they just have a very unique and fun and very close relationship, and it was just really nice to watch. It's nice to honestly, and I know I don't give this off, but just a man loving another man in the most compassionate and supportive way.
Yeah,
it's very role model-y. I feel like most of the time, Guys aren't like that.
Not allowed. It's not allowed. Yeah.
Right. And those guys just
right?
like don't give a shit. And it's just great. It was really, really fun to watch. I also loved when the opening scene where they ask him about the shirt incident at Waste Management, and he describes what happened. I got carried away. I took a shirt off, and then they cut to him. And he goes, and then the tour calls and yells at you because you're not supposed to take a shirt off at a golf course.
Which tell me that doesn't if that's not the PGA Tour thing in the world. Like, oh, hang on, of course, something good and fun happened.
And really, I feel like those are the story. Hopefully they learn for season 2, perhaps. A lot of people talked about this too, and I totally agree. Those are the stories. Those stories and our guy, the Gala storyline, that stuff is, and you can talk about the Sahith episode because I think they didn't do enough.
No,
in our opinion. But those stories I feel like are really, I guess you go one of two ways. You either go to the very top of the tour and you show these guys competing, at the very, very top, but PJs get old after a while, and $1,000 bets on blind draws get old after a while. And you really want to see the guys that, the Joel Damon story was just incredible. Like the dude qualified for the US Open, and then he was, in the final round or in the final group on Sunday there.
I don't want to pass that by real quick. Let's talk about him qualifying the show or not. But the perspective of he's like, I just know who I am and I'll make a living doing this. And
someone's got to be the 70th best golfer in the world.
But this same guy had the ability, admittedly, there were sodas involved and whatnot, but
of course
this guy, he thinks this about himself and then basically had the ability to be after round 1, he wasn't in it, but he's good enough to go then, be like, I'm going to win now.
Yeah. What was he? He was on the phone. He's like, I got to go shoot 7 under, and it's getting windy out here, and I don't know if I have it in me.
Right. And then just just ho-hum.
Yeah.
Knock that down. Okay.
Crazy.
So it's clearly you belong, but I would argue probably the reason he's had this success is because that's to me, that's where it is sort of interesting. Brooks's brain's a certain way, and then he starts putting so much pressure on himself and he can't survive. I think Rory has a little bit of that too. Meanwhile, Joel also is succeeding and making a ton of money, one of the top players on the tour, with the polar opposite, and he probably survives off of just being like, I'm just, then you look at the health and tragedy through his bloodline and family.
Right.
For him, he's like, I'm just happy to be here. And so his brain, I'm golfing. How hard is that? I'll just do this. And I think that's probably why he's successful, and because he doesn't put too much pressure on himself and he just enjoys it. One thing, I had 2 other random things out of that episode where I think full swing, adding to the list of it, I do think it dropped the ball a good bit. Gino has this great story. He's been living in this tiny little trailer with his wife, and I want to say multiple kids and newborn babies, everything. And it is a small trailer. There was an episode, or there's a Golf Digest short or something where he gave a tour of his trailer. Yeah. People are sleeping, the kids are sleeping in drawers. It's the works. And he goes, it's not that we can't afford it. We bought a house. We're building a house, but this is pre-COVID. It's taking forever. There's this problem. There's that problem. And why waste the money on something we're waiting for our house. And he's still in that trailer. They cut to things in that trailer. How do you not, in the Gino Joel story, how do you not cover that in the least bit? So that was
I think that's because we know.
Well, I know.
Then we missed it, right? But I don't know how they build that in there. Look how desolate he's living.
No, I think but it's to the character of I think they're just kind of regular humans, and they're not these. Right. Yeah, they're not the guys on the live jets.
They don't have sneaker collections on their wall or any nonsense like that.
Right. So I think that would be good. And then this is where I just wrote this note. This is where it set into me. 4 episodes in, it was weird hearing Faraday calls again.
Oh yeah. I noticed that too.
I'd be like, what?
I noticed it too.
What?
Another dude I just forgot about.
Yeah.
Happily.
Well, and I thought I would like notice to some degree
because
he was
the mouth smacks that he always does before he talks.
He was a very definitive sound, and I'm like,
for sure.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was used to be the thing. So that stood out to me in the 4th episode. It took me 4 episodes.
All right. Any other highlights? Let's just wrap this thing up. This is going into full swing tonight, full time.
It's still, I mean, we're 20 minutes. It's still half the time. I think the one, nothing. I think the Cameron Smith stuff. Oh, I did make a note about his Bryson just falling off the planet here. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about when they're showing it, like the Cam Smith leaving thing, I think does suck from an entertaining golfer to watch, but it is also a good point of, do we still wake up tomorrow? Like it's okay, fine. Yeah. He's gone. There's other golfers.
Yeah. And obviously that's their biggest get.
Yeah.
In terms of still very, very competitive. Probably. I talked to you about this Saturday night about, Poulter's giving up on this as of right now, the Ryder Cup, captaincy because of X millions of dollars, whatever reason, fine. But Cam Smith winning the Open at St. Andrews and then walking is just wild to me. Wild. It's crazy.
Here's where my head got toward the end of this. Episode 7, the Chilean episode. One, we need to try Piscola, the drink they were having.
I've had it. It's amazing.
I've never had it. And then,
we got to do that for sure. For sure.
How good did that food look at that barbecue?
Yeah.
Like they knew.
I should have known you'd eyeball that stuff. What was the meat that he's throwing on there? It's just like a arancetta.
A marinated skirt steak of some sort.
Yeah. That's arancetta. Okay. It's not a skirt steak. Come on.
You don't know. You don't know. Fair. And that's also what I made a note of, is this whole series based around the central characters to the PGA Championship and Live. Episode 8, the last one. The opening scene of the charity breakfast with Rory and I'm assuming the super wealthy, whatever.
Some donors or whatever.
Like, don't tease me with a good time. Take Rory out of the equation. Average age 73.
Oh yeah,
and
with Rory in there, they're probably still just average of 70.
Yeah, and that's not. I'm not being ageist. It's not a case of that. My point to you is a charity breakfast with Rory in a quiet, serene place with a certain demographic. I'll just put it that way in there. You can draw your own conclusions on how much fun that room probably was.
What do you think that per plate costs to sit with Rory with? It's like what, 6 other people, 5 other people? That table wasn't very big.
Well, then I thought, what charity is that? And the way these pros show up to things, they sign their TaylorMade deal, their Nike deal, whatever. And basically it's not like Nike goes, hey, Rory, we're going to fly. They'll fly him out somewhere on their dime. Sure. And put him up somewhere. But it's not like he gets an extra 25 grand or 200 grand for that commercial.
No,
it's part of their contract.
Right.
So same thing a lot with these like charity breakfasts. Like, hey, we pay you so much a year. We're going to host charity breakfasts and you're going to show up to them. So I'm wondering if that's one of those things. And if it is, like, it's definitely going to be expensive. That charity's got to pay for Rory somehow. So,
right. Yeah.
And if it does become an appearance fee thing, then that's really knocking up. I'm getting into like, you could tell me that's like I'm going to say it's a couple. Let's say a couple per couple. If you told me that's like $60,000, I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I'd be like, yeah, okay.
And then if you told me it was like $250, I'd go, I don't know what world we're living in, but it's like, yeah, I believe it. The right place, the right time.
Yeah, right. We talked about this too a little bit. More Sahith Tagala would have been better. Because you had pointed out it's again the parenting dynamic, JT and his dad and Sahith and his parents, not traditional, not what you would expect.
Yeah.
From that culture and things. So that really, and I mean, again, Tony Finau is the same way. Like these dudes that Joel was the same way, showing their emotions, understanding what their parents did for them, understanding, what it means to do what they're doing and the appreciation and that kind of thing. Like, I don't know. It's just a better watch. Like JT and Jordan, I get it. They're wildly successful golfers and they've done all this stuff. And now they're on PGAs flying around. Morikawa, he's a psycho with details and he's flying with his dog and his fiance and on a PJ. Like, yeah, okay.
That Adidas apparel meeting, I wanted to stab my own eyeballs out.
Oh my God. God, that was bizarre. Honestly, like when he would say words, you'd have 10 people starting to write stuff. Like, what is going on there? That is so weird. Would you? This is a question, and then we can end this.
I feel like I got to hit some of these bullets, so we'll just rapid fire these bullets because
you're sitting in Colin Morikawa's chair, and Adidas is laying out fabrics and clothing matchings. Are you gonna do what he did and be like, I'm not wearing this, or are you just be like, I don't care, guys. Just whatever you want to put me in.
I don't know. See, I could go both ways. It's like at the same time, I go, whatever, you guys pay me, I'll just wear it. It's cool.
That's how I feel. Like, just give me I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to sit in a room with 15 people and go over fabrics. Like, just make sure it's my cut. If it's a good fit, then we're good.
I'm also in a position though where I go, I don't want to wear that, and if I don't have to, like, I'm not going to.
I guess you would be such a diva. You're right. No, you'd be a total diva. You'd be like, get this out of here. What is this? Polyester? What is this polyester?
Not true whatsoever. I think I'd be like, hey, I really like these things. I'd like to just be somewhere around there. Be adventurous, but like, that's a good material. Let's just lean into that. And I don't need to see 7 different other options.
Right.
Let's move on. All right.
I would just say, just cut it in my, to my fitting, and then let's move on.
I'd probably go, what's Kris wearing? Just make sure whatever I do, it's like somehow identical.
Right. Can you make the pants look like his shirt and my shirt look like his pants?
This is weird. All right. So let me throw some of these bullets at you. And really, I'm honorable mention. Oh God. Actually, I thought of a topic. I don't know if we should go into on the show, but I love Billy Foster. Forgot how much I love Billy Foster. Caddy for Matt Fitzpatrick. But really, episode 6, where I feel like things, maybe it's just I watched 5 episodes and my perspective started changing. I thought it was so funny how Tony Finau was talking to those kids and he was talking about Tiger, and it didn't even register with them. Like, Tiger Woods wasn't a thing to them. Where
it's true.
Like, oh, it's true. I would watch Tiger. Yeah, I know what you mean. And those kids are like, okay.
Do you ever see the clip where Rory McIlroy is talking to a bunch of kids like that? And he's like, anybody have any questions? And some little kid raises his hand and he says, do you know Jordan Spieth?
Yeah. It's wild.
But that's their generation. Like, they don't know. Yeah, you're right. They didn't get to see Tiger, which is crazy.
Reminder, Tony Finau was on Big Break. Let's not forget that. And
that's true. They didn't really address that either.
Came from being on freaking Big Break to who he is now.
I miss Big Breaks. Someone bring it back. At least stream it somewhere so I can just pull it up and watch the old episodes.
Yeah, there you go. This is an unoriginal thought, I'm sure, but obviously, I don't follow all the outlets who are having these discussions. When it's time to replace my garage doors, we will be doing the Tony Finau garage stuff and beat him. All right, so
sounds good to me.
Okay,
sounds good to me.
Also, in that episode, Tiger's 2019 Masters win was pretty sweet.
Unbelievable.
Just remember that.
Unbelievable.
Did you notice?
I mean, that thing, man. God, I just got chills thinking about it. I just literally got chills thinking about it.
How did that happen?
I don't know. It's just I don't know.
Did you notice how like all the golfers seem to love shooting hoops, but they're all terrible.
Yeah. Morikawa bounced the ball off that Tesla.
Yeah. So bad. We already talked about episode 7. So episode 8, the charity breakfast. Yeah. I gotta tell you, I think we're especially they're like, oh, Barb, we're not big Jack fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Trevino has a lot of skeletons in his closet and is sort of notorious for being kind of a douchebag. But I really enjoyed the scene of him just busting everyone's balls. He doesn't care who Jack Nicklaus is, who Tiger Woods is.
The thing is, too, like they are so overmatched from just a sort of just how quick Trevino is. Like Trevino will just bury you.
You're Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus, and combined, you are put in your place by Lee Trevino.
Right. Over and over again. They can't even get a word in. Like you saw Jack just kind of like fumbling. He didn't know how to respond to the stuff that Trevino's throwing.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care who Tiger Woods is, other than he probably still gets like some sort of residual golf check because Tiger made the game what it is now.
Right.
And then good way to cap this was Rory's in the comment. I saw this catch some I forgot the exact word, but the mandatory tournaments where his comments about that caught women be like, oh, so these are mandatory, whatever.
Yeah.
But at that point where he goes, I think at the end of the day, listen to this. I think we've all gotten a little soft if this is our problem.
Yeah, totally.
And it's, I think
he showed up pretty well in that whole space. I feel he was like, if I'm willing to do it,
if Ryan Q Info was on here with us, it's Monday Q Info. We had a case of the golf 1 for all you folks who don't know. We call him Ryan.
One of the great handles of all time.
Right. I think it's easy for Rory to say that. Like, we've all got stuff. Like, well, it's easy for you to say. Tell that to, Wesley Bryan, who is
right.
Whatever. So,
but I mean, it was clear that the elevated and the tournament and the money were targeted for the guys that have gotten soft. It's not really it's a benefit if Wesley Bryan goes and wins one of these tournaments or something and gets this windfall of money, but really it's around getting these bigger names out into the field.
Yeah. Sorry, Brooks, Bryson, Cam Smith. Like if these are your problem, Dustin, you've gotten a little soft.
Right.
So I thought that was funny. And then, I don't know. I thought Amanda was fantastic, that she did a really good job. I don't know how to say his last name. Dylan Dethier. I don't.
It's Dethier. Yeah.
I don't know a ton about him. So I'm kind of indifferent about how I felt he was on there. I'm going to tell you, there was another regular independent, quote unquote, independent journalist who provided a lot of narrative I didn't perhaps care for in their recurring role throughout the show.
Are you avoiding his name or do you not know his name?
I don't know his name. I'm avoiding his name.
Okay, yeah, because he is brutal. He's brutal. He's so brutal. That dude is so brutal. God, he's just.
It was okay, brutal. And then in his one, I'll say in his one episode where he wasn't just a journalist, it couldn't have been more. Oh, is the camera on you? Okay.
God, he's just awful. He's so awful.
Do you know who was really, really good throughout the whole thing? And I thought like they needed to lean on this person more and should have put them into like the Amanda and Dylan role. Sean Foley. I thought his commentary.
He was good. Yeah.
Solid. It's an interesting perspective that's been in an interesting spot. And I feel like he's a non-traditionalist and blah, blah, blah. So I felt, and he's been side by side with a lot of those guys in a very functional way. So I'm like, this is good. It's insightful stuff.
I'll agree with that. I didn't really give him much thought, but yeah, he was not insufferable.
I did think it was interesting how people were,
I like his glasses.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't know if I can pull those off, but those are dope.
Only one way to find out.
It's true.
Name, journalist or whatever. Sean Foley. He's worked with a lot of players. He's had a lot of success. Sean Foley, Tiger's ex-swing coach.
Yeah.
Jeez, man. Thanks. All 8 episodes. Like,
I
feel like you're doing the guy dirty. All right. Those are my notes.
Nice job.
You too.
That was it. That's full swing thoughts tonight. Half the time.
I mean, you did.
You're welcome.
You got. 8 episodes.
Let's have a dialogue. Let's have a dialogue in the comments, ladies and gentlemen, or online, whatever.
We did that in 40 minutes.
No, I know we did.
Look at us.
It's true.
That's not even one episode time.
That's right.
So full swing thoughts tonight, and half the time, I'm going to say in an eighth of the time.
You're right.
Look at us. All right, that's Kris McEwen, my good friend over there. Do me a favor, go follow him everywhere at Kris McEwen. It's worth it. He's a good dude. He deserves it. And while you're at it, maybe hit @RangeHeroes up if you don't already. And go over to JRangeHeroes.com, read some stuff. I got Cobra King Tour Irons reviews up, and I don't know, there's something else.
We have a link.1 unboxing on the channel as well, so you can check that out. And a Tour Edge exclusive podcast, Gear Talk podcast, all about Tour Edge.
That stuff, I've seen it in person. I haven't swung it, but it's pretty neat. Just gonna warn everybody now. All right. Kris McEwen, Bill Bush, thanks again. It's been a pleasure. Go watch Full Swing. I almost call it Swing Test tonight. Go watch Full Swing so this episode makes sense to you, or don't. But leave a comment below. Let us know what you think. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.